Trump's view on oil. He supports low oil price. He's going to make sure that more reserves in America are pumped into the American market. That will also reduce the demand for international crude price. That will drive down the price. That will make energy cheaper in America. And that's what the American people wanted, and that's what the American people voted in for. So when you look at that, that's already a challenge to a nation like Nigeria.
Indeed.
And you remember, before now, we could pride ourselves that America is no more our largest crude purchaser. But again, you look at the competition that will come in between that now, whereby there are some countries that normally give America crude. Those countries will also come back to some of the market that we are operating. That's why a little bit I'm excited that we've signed an agreement with the president, the prime minister of India, to make sure that we will supply crude to India in terms of, that is a game changer for us. I think that will help us, because that market is not going to be an easy market for us to begin to make money. And unfortunately, again, our totality of our economy is depending on the revenue from oil. So it's a big challenge. But again, in terms of security, I think a Trump presidency has favored Nigeria. Let's be sincere about it in terms of security. Remember, before Trump came in his first term, wanted to buy the fighter jet, and then the then President Barack Obama said they won't give it to us because of human rights abuse, a lot. But when President Trump came, he sold those jets for us to fight the terrorists. And today, we can pride that he really helped us to minimize the type of challenges that we're having in terms of security.
Yes.
So no matter there's a little,
no matter some things that President Trump
when we look
has
at
been
our
reported to have said about us in the past.
In the past, but you look at what he has really, that was what our greatest challenge at that time. So we should understand, and then you should know that Trump is a president that thinks about the people of America, what is good for America, not what is good for the world. The former president of America will look at the war, to say America is a war police. Trump is saying, no, I don't want America to be the war police. Remember also there was a time that the visa fee in Nigeria was, the visa fee that the Americans pay was higher than what the Nigerians pay. And Trump said, no, America pay higher fee to come to Nigeria, Nigeria pay lower fee to go to America. And Trump said, no, that cannot.
We've got to equalize things.
He said, we are going to do it. And he hiked his own to meet our own. He said, unless we come to level. So when you look at it, he has always, his economic policy has always been for the people of America.
And in that regard, you just reminded me, he has been saying that he's going to be adjusting tariffs between here and Japan, and
that
China.
Is going to be a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge.
Let us know, please, come. I'll hold that point and we'll come back to it. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Good morning to Mr. Mukhtar.
Yes.
Good morning.
President Tinubu in Brazil.
Yes. Uncle Yori, I will candidly advise my president that we should begin to look inwards. Because he has already drawn international attention to Nigeria. We know the amount of foreign investment he has attracted. But we have to first look at domesticating those things to bring economic beneficial effects to the people. That has not started happening. It's not yet cascading to the ordinary man in the street. The cost of living is just too high. The policies that the IMF is dictating, IMF themselves are now saying that they need to be reviewed. IMF themselves are now saying that those policies need to be reviewed. We need to look at the local economics and let the people be happy first. I don't care about Donald Trump. Americans are very gullible. They voted a convicted criminal. He told them exactly what he was coming to do. They were clearly spelled out in a document called Project 2025. He does not mince words. So, looking at the appointments he's making, you can see the kind of criminals that he's appointing.
Oh dear.
You don't expect a person that has no character to appoint people that have character. Okay. That is going to cascade into the international politics, whether we like it or not.
All right.
He does not believe in civility at the international level. He is a racist to the core, and he does not even value the societal values of other countries.
Well,
and that is the person that's going to be dictating what or who is doing in the world today.
okay.
You can see what Mukhtar is saying about all the world policies of many world bodies that have been keeping the world going. He doesn't believe in climate change. He doesn't believe in any other person except himself. He's just saying America. He's invariably talking about himself. In America, anybody that doesn't support him, to him, is not an American.
All right.
Let's leave Trump out of our business and let my president come back a little home and address. I don't want to see $1 exchanging for 1,800 naira. That needs to be looked into.
Indeed.
It takes me 150,000 naira to fill the tank of the car I drive if I want to travel.
Yeah.
That is not acceptable.
All right then. Well,
We are here.
thank you very much.
The things you buy
Thank
20
you.
naira from 3 months ago is now 150 naira. You
Right.
have to look into all that. Some people are afraid to put on lights in their homes.
Yes.
Somebody came to your studio that day and was promoting that they should put off lights when they are inside their home so that they don't see as a remedy.
Well, thank you very much for calling in,
Who are
Mr.
his
George.
enemies are
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. Oh dear. I'm sure.
Yeah, I want to react to something.
Well, and then any diplomats were listening to this would have been catching their breath now and again. Called the American president-elect convicted criminal. Yeah, he was convicted. That is there. But it is.
What this thing I've told. I mean, if you look at the American election, I told a friend that what he has told me, what it has made me to understand is that politicians are the same anywhere in the world, and it's just that sometimes you tend to look at your own as bad as the worst in terms of the. If you look at President Trump with the kind of baggages, if it was not in America, maybe it was happening in a country like Nigeria, you have such person that's going for presidency. We Nigerians will be shouting, such a thing cannot happen in a country like America, such a thing cannot happen in a country. But here we are seeing it that politics sometimes is about the people, about what the people want. I think that's what our leaders should realize from the election of Trump. Trump was not elected because he's the best candidate. He's elected because of his economic policy that he brought to them. They felt they were better off during Trump's economic policy than what Biden brought to them. And so it's unfortunate that towards the end of Biden's economic policy, the economic policy seems to be picking up. When you talk about Project 25, President Trump has denied he's not part of Project 25. He has denied that. But you need to look at what he's talking about. We attracting investment. We need to ask ourselves how much investment have we attracted in our country. If you look at the data that came in from the stock exchange in the month of September, it made us understand that a lot of investors, foreign investors, are even exiting our market than coming in. So we need to look at that. So when you are going to a summit like G20 or G7, or what product are you going to sell to them?
Well, he has the Minister of Agriculture in there, so
that's what I'm saying. What product are we selling?
Okay, so
what is the time we need to have a product that we are selling? We cannot just sell a product that come to our country. We are doing reforms, and they will look at how much of your reform benefited your people. So for us to even come in there, the purchasing power of the average Nigerian is low, like he said. So again, by the day you see those foreign investment coming in, and yet the government said, oh, we have capital importation, it was higher than last year. But you forget to let us know that last year the exchange rate was less than that. So what we are seeing now, we are seeing few inflow, but again, because of the exchange rate, when it comes in dollar, we pride ourselves that we have made so much money. No, we have not made so much money.
We're still in very difficult
We are
time.
very, look at our borrowing. We are going to be borrowing about 41 trillion for projects.
Prince in Abuja, good morning to you. Good morning, Prince.
Yes, good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Go ahead, please.
Thanks for having me on this conversation.
Your thoughts, the president in Brazil.
The existing discussions people are having.
Yes, okay.
I think our leaders need to be very intentional in some of their traveling, some of these meetings, some of these conferences that we go to. Now, we know the president has gone for the G20 meeting, but the questions that the citizen is asking are, what are the statistics that our president is aiming to achieve from this meeting? We should have a situation where we are saying, okay, we're leveraging on this meeting to be able to drive in investors, or we need support, military support to be able to tackle insecurity that we're facing at the moment. So to have this thing clearly set out by the media aid of the president that is put forth to us as Nigerians to know what we stand to gain from such meetings that he has gone for it. And when we are not strategic on these meetings, we should be able to measure in terms of, okay, this meeting that we've gone for this meeting, we're back to the country, there is the feedback or the rollout from this meeting as to how it can benefit us as a country. So when we have that debate, as this information, citizens will begin to appreciate some of these meetings. But when we go there like a participant and come back without having any tangible thing to show as the returns or the profit that we've made from such journey, then let's say that we are just not there yet. So we should have a specific that we tend to achieve in all of these meetings, not just being a spectator or probably being a guest on these meetings as it comes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Prince, for calling in. I guess what Prince was saying there, it affects all African countries, because there are other countries there. We're talking about the G20 summit, the leading 20 economies, and South Africa is in there. A lot of these people are in there. But as Prince is saying, what is the benefit to Nigeria is what most people will be saying, and most people in Nigeria are concerned right now with putting something in their stomach. Never mind 3 square meals. Putting something in their stomach has become increasingly harder than it used to be. And that is what people are saying, that, look, you're going over there. First of all, we are there. Nigeria is in the Committee of Nations. Yes, I think that's a very important one. That and
we're invited.
So
we're invited.
And you won't just be inviting people
because again, we are the biggest economy in Africa.
Indeed. So the potential is huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. But we still have our challenges.
Like I said, what product? Like he said, what are we going to sell? What are we telling them that we have for them to come and buy? Outside of crude, we've talked so much about crude. Is that all that we have?
We've talked so much about crude.
So is that all that we have?
We're still talking
about crude.
And
so,
I'm not sure
and
you
now
understand.
Crude is not bringing so much inflow to us again because of, in terms of the security challenge in Niger Delta, oil theft and all of that. If part of what the president is going to go and discuss with the G20, that look, you stop buying crude that are thieved, that are stolen from Nigeria, then again that could be something that we are looking at. Be talking about security in the high sea, and which American has really been one of those people that have been trying to defend a lot of all these ships, especially being attacked
high seas,
piracies. So we can look at that and say, fine, is that what we are going to discuss? Because that also have affected our production. That is one. Then if you talk about agriculture, what are we going to discuss? What type of who are those that see? We're up to also who are those that are the entourage of the president. I don't have a clear picture of who are in the entourage of the president. Normally when the president travels like this, he goes with some state governors, he goes with some ministers. By and by that, we begin to know what are our goals in going to G20 meeting.
But you people will say that too many people are going, and so
it's not about the too. That's why we must be strategic. We must be intentional about that. What he's saying. If we are going for that meeting, what are we planning to achieve? You can't be going with 20 ministers. You think you achieve what is our goal? Is it in the area of agriculture? Is it in the area of security? Is it in the area of oil and gas? What are we going to achieve when we are going there? That is a very big question we must always ask ourselves. And this question can only be answered when we look at the entourage that are following the president. Like you said, there will be meetings in the side. And again, on the sideline. And when you are going to such a meeting, we've realized that these days, before now, you see countries are doing business with countries. But these days, we are beginning to see countries are doing business with companies. It's not more or less so much about country to country. It's about countries and companies. So, which of these companies are we going to target? And if you are going to discuss with companies, who are the private sector investors that are along with the president, that went along with the president on this visit? If you look at the developed economy, I mean, some of these developing economy or the developed economy, when they are going for meetings like this, G20, G7, you realize that most of their delegates are always private sectors, people that are going to discuss with other of the ministers on how they can come and do business in those countries. But in our own case, when you see those that are going, they are politicians. So we need to begin to think differently. We need to begin to do things differently. You don't go there, the politician goes there and sign an MOU with a company that is coming to do business in Nigeria. And you sign everything, almost signing up everything that was supposed to go to the Nigerian company in the hands of that company, and the Nigerian company become cap in hand, begging that company. That's not, you need to go with, if you are looking at oil, if you are looking at crude oil, if you are looking at, there's no how that Aliko Dangote should not be among going to that meeting, because now he has the largest refinery. We are not having enough crude. China is one of our biggest buyer of our crude. Now, what will happen? We will begin to see the narrative change. Do we begin to see, because now, like you say, the narrative is going to change. Chinese are going to devalue their currency. And Trump is going to hike tariff. So he wants to make sure that American goods are able to compete favorably with the Chinese market. Yes. In all of this, where are we? Where is Nigeria?
So it goes back to what you've always been saying, that we don't have anything to sell.
Yeah. So where are we?
People have been talking about manufacturing.
What is manufacturing? What are we? Do you create the environment? If you go to that meeting, Japan will be there. The Prime Minister of Japan will be there. I'm sure he's coming up with some of the group of Toyota. If you go there and you have a meeting with Toyota, you say, Toyota, we are one of the largest market in Africa for your product. And they said, yeah, we want to come. But you know our challenge? Power.
And why do we have that power challenge? That's a totally different story.
So is the Japan, are you going there now saying, okay, we are going with our Jinkos and our Discos to go there and talk to some big companies that will now come and invest, because we are realizing that the challenge they have is because their equipment are obsolete. So these are the intentionality of government when you know your problem. Now, remember that sometimes when you want to go with this private sector, it's cheaper for you, because you won't be sponsoring them. You'll be telling them that, look, I'm just taking you along there to make a business deal, to bring in more business for your company and in turn employ more Nigerians to your advantage. But when you are going with politicians, all they are thinking about is the Esta code, the hotels they will stay and what they will make. So we need to begin to change the narrative when it comes to going for economic meetings. Economics meetings are not political meetings. It's not the U.S. General Assembly that we are going to talk politics. We are going to 20 industrialized economy, 20 of the biggest economy in the world. What are we taking to that economy? Is it the president and his politicians that are going there? Which of the businessmen is the chairman of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria on that entourage? Is it there? What are the five biggest companies in manufacturing in Nigeria? Are they among the president entourage? What of the power companies are they among the president entourage? So we begin to, you see a situation sometimes. What happens? You see this G20, they invite our leaders. Then they also invite our businessmen. Differently from our leaders. And both of them are going to the same place. They're only going to meet there.
From within the same country?
Within the same countries. I'll give you an example. When President Buhari came to power, remember when he was going to the to the US, when he assumed office, he went with politicians. So much politicians, they went there, they made all the noise, the country's going to different, we are coming to fight corruption, and he came back. That was during Barack Obama. When Barack Obama was going to Kenya, the Kenyan president was inviting Aliko Dangote, Anthony Eluminu, to be part of his entourage that would discuss with Barack Obama in terms of trade. So you can see the thinking. If you are having business here, you are the people that can discuss. Because government is all about creating the enabling environment for business to strive. Government is never good at doing business. So we should also know that when you are going for an economic meeting like this as a president, like I was saying, is to tell them what your reforms are going to do, what your reforms are going to help achieve, and the companies will begin to look at, okay, we are going to benefit from this reform, but we need a company on ground. Not when the president goes to a place and is making a deliberation with me. I said, if anybody wants to collect money from you, you let me know.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not presidential. You should be discussing with the companies. And I'm sure the companies will be looking at the win-win for themselves. They will not be saying, give me money or this. But because you are going with politicians, because they are going to pass through the political, the administrative bottleneck, because those are the ones that signed the agreement. Those are the ones that will say, this agreement we signed, no, it will not go. We need to do something. Then you are talking about being corrupt.
Well, let's take a break. Clearly, you don't think very much about this summit as far as we are concerned.
It has never helped us.
The concerns.
The concern has always been there. What is African going?
Since they're there on behalf of Nigeria, the concerns of Nigerians, you are saying, don't really align.
No, it doesn't. Because we are looking for aid. Who has aid help? Today, yesterday, during the week, you hear IMF saying, we are not part of your economic policy. But we think you should harden it more, but they are not part of it.
Okay, stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Okay, welcome back. And the president is in Brazil. It's about the G20 leaders. But maybe our guest, Mukhtar Mohammed, he's been saying that he's really struggling to find how this is really going to benefit us, apart from us being part of the Committee of Nations. And I suppose, even though the one that sticks out is that the president has spoken on the whole crisis in Gaza, he's added his voice to the fact that a solution does need to be found. But beyond that, people are saying, where else does this benefit us? That one you can say benefits us from the point of view of being part of humanity. And any way you look at it, what is going on in Gaza, it's just unconscionable. So that's to one side. The other aspect of it now is that, for instance, surely we should be able to talk about, I know you'd much rather, and Nigerians would much rather, we were talking about a product that we have, and as it is, it's crude. We do have the largest, refinery anywhere in the world now, thanks to the efforts of Dangote refinery. But I don't know that that is as yet giving us as much joy as we should be getting. So only God knows what kind of signals are being sent. The other time it was said that, Nigeria is no more importing fuel from anywhere. Then 2 or 3 days later, we get a clarifying statement from the NNPC saying that nobody said that. Maybe a mistake was made because at the time the general, chief executive was speaking, extemporaneously, and what he meant was that if business conditions allow, we will take from, for example, Dangote. Otherwise, it's a market situation. We will go. So when you hear those kind of signals,
that's a challenge. Now you see us as a nation saying that, look, it's cheaper for us to import fuel. In the other hand, you see the CBN saying, we are happy that Dangote refinery has come to reduce 40% FX demand that normally result in exchange rate very high. Mm-hmm. And you realize that since that refinery has come to stay, we were thinking that 40% pressure will go, and that will drive down the exchange rate. But rather, we have seen the exchange rate continue to move right from the day that Aligo Dangote said his refinery is working. So that tells you that there's a lot of things that we are not doing right. Now, we are there fighting, we want to be importing. Then a country like Ghana, Angola, also an oil-producing nation like Nigeria, South Africa, coming to negotiate with the same Nigerian company that Nigerians are not ready to negotiate. It say, look, we want you to begin to supply us refined petroleum product. And now what is happening now is that the man that is supposed to be getting those refined petroleum products through our the naira to dollar exchange policy that was driven by the Mr. President is now looking for FX to buy crude oil because you are not able to give him the crude oil that you have promised him. So how will your exchange rate go down? So look, it's not rocket science to fix the economic situation of Nigeria. And it's not that the people that are in authority, sometimes I tend to ask myself, it's not that Mukhtar Mohammed know better than them. All whatever you are going to say today, they already know it. Why are they not doing it? And that draws us down to what we keep saying, that when the structure, like they will say, when the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? We've had a very faulty foundation. We are not ready. Every time we see those foundations being built, it's built by a strong man. It's not built by a strong institution. And when the strong man goes, we are back to square one. So there's a lot of challenge that Nigerians are facing. Unfortunately, I think I for one thought that, look, you can praise Mr. President Tinubu that this. With what I have seen in him do in Lagos, I expected so much economically. But unfortunately, I don't think I'm getting that value yet.
People are actually now commenting that, it seems to turn out that Nigeria is not Lagos. What was successful...
I don't want to go into those. In Lagos, you are dealing with the governor that have the House of Assembly that is controlled by a single party, that has its men on ground, that knows the local government chairman, that knows the chairman of the road union, the transport, that knows this, that can just make a phone call. But in Nigeria, we are dealing with a very complex situation. You are dealing with people that are politicians. You are dealing with people that have enjoyed from the status quo. You are dealing with people that are not ready for change. How can a former governor come out and say Lagos is trying to colonize the North? You don't say that. You see, I keep saying it. What has driven Nigeria to where we are today is politics in our economy. Where we are, look, you're talking about the removal of subsidy. This was a thing that I think would have done it when President Goodluck was about to do it at that time. I keep saying it, there was no better time at that time. Our reserve at that time was 100 billion. That would not have, even if we have float our currency, we wouldn't have a problem. At the time, we are not doing the same policy because most of us went for political gain. The politicians hijacked it. At the time we are floating the currency, our reserve is 30 billion. Out of that 30 billion, we owe about only 3 billion because when you look at the audited report, 27 billion is more or less like loan. How do you survive in such a situation? So when you see good policy comes in, somebody says somebody's trying to benefit a particular region to the detriment of another region. We are not even looking at the good of that policy. The good of that policy is the smaller businesses that are mostly in the north are going to benefit. That's what they are not looking at that. They are looking at the political angle that what will be coming to the state government, not to the ordinary citizen in terms of the man that is doing business, but what will be coming to the state government that will be able to be shared politically is not going to be the same. That's the challenge of the political class. They are not looking at that place that says that business turnover is going to, if you're not going to pay tax if you're able to do a lot of turnover. They are not looking at that document that says company income tax is going to go down by 5%. That means companies will make more money. They will be able to expand. They will employ. Nobody's looking at that. They are not looking at that side that says that, look, if you create value for a product, the value added tax is going to come to you. Nobody's looking at that. They are only looking at, because they are not ready to create value, the value added tax will not come to you. That's what they are looking at.
Well, there's a problem there because to go to the other point that you made. You see, things just don't work yet. Let me just add the word yet. It seems to be a struggle. The president offered, not just offered, also said that, look, you know what, this whole logjam of sourcing for petrol, okay, Dangote refinery, NMPC, go ahead and sell to him in Naira. Remove the pressure of, it still doesn't appear
because till today, Uncle Yori, till today,
so all of
what is the exchange rate? Remember, I keep saying that all of us just say, the president said go and sell in Dangote in Naira. But people have forgotten the condition that the president put there. The co-president said it will be at a fixed rate. Fixed exchange rate. He made that say fixed exchange rate. Up till this moment, neither Dangote or NNPC have told us what that fixed exchange rate is.
So why all the cloak and dagger? Because all of this is also being communicated to the world. Because now
we are going to G20. So what are you going to tell the world?
This is the point I was making. So
Petrobras in Brazil are planning. They are one of the largest company in terms of oil company in the world, and Nigeria happen to be one of their markets where we export refined petroleum products. And so you are going there, you think they will support you? So we need to begin to protect our own. I keep saying, why is Samsung a global player today with iPhone? It's because the government in South Korea gave Samsung a level playing ground and make sure that Samsung enjoy a lot of benefits to be able to compete globally. And that is why you see that when there are challenges with Samsung in terms of corruption, in terms of this thing, the government seems to play down on it and give them soft landing. But in our own case, when the biggest company in Nigeria is the one, the country that is going to bring us one of the biggest companies that we should say is our joy to the international community, those are the companies that we say they are corrupt. We need to deal with them. We need to make them not to be competitive.
No, but surely we need to be fighting corruption as well. I understand.
I'm not saying we can't fight corruption. Because what I'm saying that you must also have. Okay, we're talking about American first. That Tom is saying. What is he saying? Say, I'm protecting our indigenous company. How much of government policy is vital towards protecting indigenous company? You just mean, let's go to Dangote. How much is government doing to protect the largest single train refinery in the world? How much is government patronizing it?
This is the problem, and it's Nigerian.
It's Nigeria. So, and now you're telling me to pride myself to wear made in Nigerian goods.
Mazi Okorafo, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess. Sir, the G20 company that is going on now is a very very sensitive. If you look at the whole world right now, countries that are facing what we call that is war. Now, you ask yourself, at the end of the day, the president is coming back at least. The rapport between him and the G20, these are the main people that have the economy, the people that have security, the people that have what it takes for the whole world to vibrate. So at the end of the day, something good is coming back to Nigeria. Let's see security in terms of security. At least, for going there now, we know the type of security situation in Nigeria. At least, Any countries that you have to liaise with them, so that all these machinery, all this equipment that we need, but the best outside from here, you get the connection, the connectivity. It will help Nigeria. Because by the time we secure our country with the help the president will get now, it will help us now. All this issue of scarcity of food, all this stuff, look at this stuff in it. We will not discuss all those things, and it will come back to Nigeria. We have seen what is happening now. Every day we'll be hearing that the national grid has collapsed. Even as I'm talking to you now, the national grid, I don't know whether it's whether yes. Get the next 2 hours, 3 hours. These are the things that you go there, get the knowledge, come back home and implement it. That is why those that are president, when they come back, they implement what they have gathered there. For the development of Nigeria, you cannot sit, what you don't know, you don't know it. You cannot sit down in Nigeria and say that you have to do it. No way. You have to get what you call international recognition, get international knowledge, gather facts from other countries, gather facts from other people, and come back to your place and make use of it. But if somebody is in the village, does he know what is happening? He doesn't know. If you don't leave your village and come to, how will you know? That is why it's need. And the benefit of what the president gives back to us will be for the benefit of everybody. When they come back, the think tank that went there, they should come back, do what? Bring the message down to other sectors of the economy that took them to that place so that Nigeria will partake. We have to move to the story. So we are now on the digital era, no longer the analog. Anybody thinking about analog, for this president, that person or he or he is waiting for our time. Good morning, Mazo Crawford from Morning.
Thank you very much.
I like what Madio Qualifier said. They say think tank. Who are the think tank? That's what we are saying. That's what I was saying. Who are the think tank that went with Mr. President? Somebody made a illustration. He said, these days you don't think, before you say you think out of the box. But these days you think in the cloud because we have stopped. That's the out of the box seems to be the analog. In cloud seems to be the digital. How much are we thinking as a nation? So
as you know, the expression really means thinking unusual.
That's what I'm saying. But
that
we see that is we have been thinking analog, and the analog thinking is fuel, petrol, crude oil. When are we begin to think in the cloud? And when you start thinking in the cloud, you know what you think about? You think about your people as your greatest resources. And then you begin to empower your people. Education is key.
Well, it's interesting you're putting it that way because it is the truth. But part of the objective of, I think the United Nations, including this whole one here, is that the world needs to come together through these, G20, top 20 economies, and decide how they are going to go about helping poorer countries.
I like that.
How much that
Uncle Yori,
they actually need.
How much have they helped poorer countries? Look at history. Who has the G20 summit really helped? How much have they contributed to the GDP of some of these countries that are going there?
Well, they don't want to.
Once you go there, you see that they are always thinking about business within themselves.
Of course.
Then the other small countries are there to eat the crumbs. Because like I said, unless you have a product that people cannot look away from. The only thing that some people like discussing with Nigeria is because we have crude, which is an international product. Outside of that, which other international product are we selling? And crude is competitive because you are talking about crude. You have crude there. Saudi Arabia has it. United Arab Emirates have it. What's the competitive advantage that you have there? When you are going to a summit like this, you think about your competitive advantage. What are you going to be selling? Who are those people that will be your seller? Yes, I agree. Mr. President is Nigeria's #1 marketing officer. You have to give it to him. He has tried as much as possible to market this country. He has not demarketed it. Before we have a president that goes there and tells that our youth are lazy. The woman is in the other room. But at least we have a president that goes there and says, now, look, come to Nigeria. We want to do business. We want to open for business. We have done this reform. We have done this reform. But what I'm saying that we should take it further. If you are saying you have done this reform, how much of this reform have benefited your people?
This is the biggest challenge.
How much those reforms have benefited your company? So that your company...
Because these are plans that you're selling.
Because your company should not be competing at a disadvantage with those companies from those other nations when they come. Today, why have we not seen the African Continental Trade Agreement come to stream? Because we are not seeing the competitive advantage for various countries. So various countries are not seeing the competitive because they are not doing trade within themselves. When you go to the BRICS nation, I said about the BRICS nation, how much of trade do you do within yourself? You are calling yourself the BRICS nation, you are trying to go away with the US dollar, but all your foreign reserve, all your international, your reserve is saved in the US dollar. So what are we talking about? How much business do you do within yourselves? So we need to begin to look at things and begin to address it until you become self-sufficient. Self-sufficient in the fact that you say, look, I'm coming here, I'm not begging for aid. I have a product.
Whereas all those criticisms are indeed well taken because they actually, they stand up on their own. Still, Africa must be seen, African nations especially, must be seen to be part of the ongoing concern. And I think this is why you have all these other countries, African countries especially.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Uncle. Especially in the area of insecurity, we are beginning to see that the Western world or the developed economies have made terrorism not maybe a hotbed for the terrorists to stay. So they are now beginning to come into the Sahel region of Africa. And so that's what some of the things we should be seeing African leaders saying. How can you join us? How can you give us weapons? How can you join us to fight terrorists? How can you make sure that we make our places? Because if our places are safe, our people will be productive. I take a case of Nigeria today. Most farmers cannot go to the farm. And that's why we are seeing the skyrocket in terms of food price. Because what we normally will produce, we cannot even produce. They cannot even produce for themselves, talk less of producing for you because they cannot go to their farms. So those are part of the thing. Where are we telling them, no, if Mr. President is going there now, he's saying, okay, fine. Are you going to help us with military equipment to fight banditry and kidnapping? Most modern military, a situation whereby a bandit will stay in one forest and be threatening us in this air and time and using phones and even putting his on YouTube, on Twitter, and we are not able to get there and say this is the exact location that they are. We need to begin to do that. We need to begin to tell them that we need your help.
We need them to help us to, at the end of the day.
We need your help. We are not saying we are begging you, but we need your help in this area, because if you are able to help us in this area, we will not be a burden to you. I keep saying it.
Actually benefit.
Why was the Food and Agricultural FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, established? It was established because of China in 1978. They said with the kind of population these Chinese are growing, if you continue like this, very soon the world will run out of how to feed them and it will become an international crisis. But today, the Chinese are feeding the world because they look inwardly and begin to use their people, that population, as an asset. That is why Donald Trump is fighting. American companies see that they make more money by employing in China than employing their own people in America. They feel more comfortable in iPhone is producing in China rather than in America because of cheap labor. That is what will happen when you invest in your people.
As you know, Trump has come in on that and I said, enough of all that producing American products, iPhone in China. If you don't come and build those factories here and start to do it here, you people will see yourself.
He's not saying, you know what he's not saying that you cannot come. He's not saying that the iPhone, it will not be more expensive when you produce it in China. And that means maybe the people will not be able to buy. So you'll be forced to. But again, you remember the Chinese also are masters of this. And what the Chinese will do, and the American will quiver, is that they will devalue their currency and make their goods cheaper. So it's going to be an interesting trade war.
And this is what the world doesn't really need.
That is why the G20, I'm sure today they will be telling President Biden, hopefully he can talk to President Trump to calm down.
Well, we want our president back. He's gone. Thank you very much.
I'm happy with Mr. President.
Thank you for going. Nigerians probably, as you said, the whole communication team of the presidency will no doubt be bringing magnifying glasses to all of this. And, as somebody said,
at least now they are 13.
I think it was Prince who said, come and tell us what exactly is
they are 13. They should all have jobs. We have 13 spokespersons for the media aid of the president. So each of them should be telling us what the president is.
You saw that article where people itemized. Indeed. Okay, thank you very much, Mukhtar Mohammed. We'll leave it here now. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest, and on TVC Digital will reach to million viewers daily. All together pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
It is time for consolidation of recovery efforts in Borno State, devastated by years of insurgency and terror. From security to education, health, agriculture, infrastructure and housing, every sector has continued to bear the stamp of Zulum's visionary leadership. Join us on Borno Restoration as we try, showcase and analyze developmental strides of Professor Babagana Zulum and his overwhelming care for the vulnerable. Borno Restoration on TVC News every